ever since we were 17.
Hi guys, welcome. I'm Jonah. I'd like to welcome you guys to our series of interviews to inspire aspiring entrepreneurs. In today's session, right, we have Seelan, who is the founder of JS Partners. She is a chartered accountant with over 20 years of experience. So without further ado, let's now welcome Jeannie, and we'll now learn from her on how we can improve on our taxes. Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, Jonah. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you for actually agreeing to do this interview with us on a Wednesday evening. How have you been?
Yeah, no problem at all. Yes, thanks for having me on your show.
No worries. Yeah, very happy to have you on. So today's topic will be five ideas or strategies on how entrepreneurs can plan for their tax. So what would your first framework be?
Okay, the first strategy, of course, would be organize your tax paperwork, okay? And get a head start. While the accounting year is happening, on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, whatever suits your business and how active it is, that's the time to actually compile and start, keeping everything up to date.
Right, fantastic. So besides our first framework, organize our tax paperwork, what would be our second framework?
Okay, so the second framework would be understanding your qualified expenses, qualified deductions, and credits. Yeah. So, of course, if you have unabsorbed losses, sometimes when you start off a company, you would have had losses for the first year or the second year. These losses can be, claimed and deducted from the profits that you make in the third year, for instance. Okay, so therefore you should have a good accountant or, someone who is aware of the tax laws so that the classification is also done properly.
So now we have actually covered qualified deductions and credits. What is your third framework for tonight?
Okay, the third framework would be understanding the tax laws. Okay, now this is regarding reliefs, and of course, the next one will of course be dividends. Yeah, so dividends are issued after the company has already paid its taxes. Yeah, and dividends is single tier; it doesn't have to be declared. So, for instance, if you're earning a certain amount of income, and you think that that might require a tax agent to help you plan it, but between the dividends and your remuneration, you can actually play around with the in terms of reducing your overall taxes as well.
So great. So I think that sums up the third point, is to take advantage of our latest tax laws. What will be your fourth framework be?
Okay, the fourth framework would be itemizing the business expenses. Now, this is very important because during a tax audit, if it's not itemized properly, the tax department would just assume it's not claimable, and we'll just add back the amount. So the amount should be itemized correctly, and get a proper accountant, or use the softwares that are available as well to itemize it to the right expense account. Whether it's traveling accommodation or petrol toll parking, those things should always be itemized. And of course, the capital expenses and capital in nature should be planted in the balance sheet or in a fixed asset. Of course, they give you 2,000 ringgit and below, which is considered small value assets, which can be expensed off. So if you buy an asset which is 2,000 below, you don't have to put in the fixed asset in the balance sheet. You can actually expense it off. Anything above 2,000, then of course you have to capitalize it. So of course, these things are important, and of course you also need to keep the supporting documents. If you pay commission to a third party, there is a form that you need to give that third party if it's more than 5,000 ringgit in a year, which is called the CP58 form. Okay, so it could be agents, it could be commissions, any form of distributors where they are not employees to your firm, but they have received a 5,000 commission. So instead of giving them an EA form, which is what you would give an employee, you would give them the CP58. And they have to use that form. I mean, it's the obligation of the company to give them the CP58, and they need to then declare in their personal tax.
Right. So, Jeannie, you mentioned just now you mentioned about itemizing your business expenses. It is very important to actually have everything listed out properly. What happens if I do not have maybe say the relevant software, but I actually throw to maybe an auditor to actually audit, or to maybe an accountant to account, but then I use maybe a spreadsheet to itemize what I have actually expensed. Does that work as well?
Yeah, a spreadsheet is also fine. If you can, I mean, the spreadsheets are very detailed. The only thing that the spreadsheets are not able to give you an automated income statement and balance sheet. So the person preparing the accounts, even though if you do a spreadsheet, he will have to put it into a software to give that, automated income statement and balance sheet, which is what the auditors would need eventually to do their audit.
I see. So for optimized business expansions, now you mentioned about software. I think it's very relevant to a lot of people. Like, say, for example, like entrepreneurs, they do not want to spend very much. I believe you are using a cloud-based software that you are an authorized license distributor as well. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Okay, so we're using Xero, which is a cloud-based accounting software. So basically, Xero, you can basically log on in either your computer or your phone, and your accountants can also be advisors, or they can be people who can also be posting the accounting entries inside. And you can also do the invoicing to your customers. So you can do the sales part, which is invoicing to the customers, and your accountants can do the back end, which is the expenses and all the postings of your daily transactions. And Xero also, you are able to basically send statements to your clients on a daily basis. I mean, we ourselves are using Xero.
Yeah.
So it has been a very good software so far, and you can also, I mean, as clients, they're able to even check the performance, cash flow statements on their phone. So it's very user friendly, and it's easy to use.
How was the transition like for some of your clients? I believe a lot of them actually transition from traditional accounting software to Xero. How was the transition like?
How was it? Okay, so we've been using traditional accounting software, and we still have for some of our clients as well. Now, the difference between the traditional and the cloud-based is because cloud-based, for instance, Xero is linked with a CIMB bank. Okay, so you can actually have direct feeds from CIMB. If there's a bank charge, instead of going online to your platform in CIMB, which is your biz channel, you can just go straight to your Xero, and you can actually see the bank charge that has come in, or a deposit that has been cleared from a customer. So from there, it's very easy to do your bank reconciliation and all the other things without having to rekey in all these expenses and deposits. The other thing that Xero is good at, and because it's a cloud-based software, if you buy something moving forward, you can just take a photo of your receipt, and then it automatically gets uploaded onto your Xero software. And and the next day or whenever you have time, the date, place where you have had the transaction is there. All you have to do is basically categorize it to which expense. So so this is the difference between the cloud-based and the traditional system. Xero is meant for clients or entrepreneurs who want to manage their own accounts. Or if they don't want to, they can do half of it. The accountants can do the other half. So it's very, flexible that way. And if you sign up with us, we actually give the 3 months free subscription fee, actually. So that's just something. Yeah. So you only need to pay from the 4th month onwards.
Fantastic. So that wraps up platform number 4, which is to actually itemize our business expense. So what
Yes.
would be our fifth and final framework?
Okay, so well, my advice, would be the fifth is basically to do a capital statement. Yeah.
Right.
When there is a tax investigation done on you, the document that they would require and they would use would be a capital statement. And a capital statement basically is a document to mention your opening balance,
Yeah.
and plus all your earnings, your investments. If you have it done on a yearly basis and you just update, it would make life very much easier for the tax agents and the LHDN and yourself, of course.
Yeah.
What I would advise to the young entrepreneurs, of course, would be, the frameworks that I had mentioned, follow it. And, the most important is you're not evading tax, but you can be tax efficient, and that's the key. And of course, knowing the laws and keeping all your expenses and your receipts are vital.
So just before we head off, I would like to ask Ginny, how can our audience here look for you or find you on social media?
Okay, so I have a LinkedIn page. Under my name, Shivajini Seelan. I have a Facebook as well. But LinkedIn would be something that you can find me on.
All right, cool. I just put this up. So if you guys have any questions or any queries about taxes, do contact Ginny on her mobile, or email her at ginnyseelan@jspartners.com.my, right?
Sure.
All right, cool. That's all the time we have for today. I would like to thank Ginny for sharing such an amazing session with us. I believe a lot of us actually got a lot of value and yeah. Any final words for us, Ginny?
I hope it was very useful, and thank you for having me at your show. Final words would be basically, just follow the frameworks that I had mentioned, and you should be fine.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Ginny. Till our next session. All right, till our next session. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.